Have you ever noticed how quickly a single rude comment from a complete stranger can ruin your entire day? Most of us think that we are the absolute masters of our own minds and actions. We like to believe we are independent, but the truth is that most of us hand over our inner peace to anyone who decides to provoke us. Imagine walking around with an emotional remote control strapped to your chest, allowing the world to push your buttons at will. When someone cuts you off in traffic, they press the anger button and your blood begins to boil. When a coworker criticizes your project, they press the insecurity button and you immediately plunge into deep self-doubt. This constant reactivity turns us into helpless puppets, moving entirely at the whim of external events and unpredictable human behavior. True personal growth does not mean changing the world around us, it means reclaiming this remote control for ourselves. By understanding the hidden triggers that dictate our daily moods, we can finally stop reacting and start choosing how we actually want to live. To truly grasp the impact of this reactivity, we must examine how it quietly damages our daily professional and personal relationships. Consider a typical morning in a bustling modern office, where a manager walks in carrying a mountain of stress from their morning commute. They encounter a junior employee who has made a minor, easily correctable mistake on a routine spreadsheet report. Instead of addressing the error calmly, the manager completely loses their temper and shouts at the employee in front of the entire team. In that explosive moment, the manager has handed their emotional remote control over to a few incorrect numbers on a piece of paper. The negative ripple effect of this single outburst will now alter the behavior of everyone who witnessed the shouting match. The humiliated employee becomes defensive, the surrounding team members stop sharing creative ideas, and the entire office atmosphere turns toxic. We see the exact same destructive pattern play out at home when we bring our workplace frustrations into our family living rooms. We react harshly to a spouse or a child over a tiny mess, completely forgetting that they did not cause our underlying stress. Every time we let external frustrations dictate our words, we pay a massive hidden cost in broken trust and damaged connections. In our modern world, this emotional manipulation does not just happen during face-to-face interactions. We now experience a continuous digital assault on our peace of mind through our smartphones and social media feeds. Think about the very first thing you do when you wake up and roll out of bed in the morning. Millions of people immediately reach for their phones and begin scrolling through endless comment sections or news alerts. Within 2 minutes, an aggressive online comment written by someone you have never met completely hijacks your mood. The social media algorithms are specifically designed to feed us content that triggers outrage, anxiety, and comparison. Every notification bell or negative headline functions as an external finger pushing your emotional remote control buttons. By allowing an algorithm to dictate how you feel before you even brush your teeth, you surrender your day. We must realize that our digital screens have become the most powerful emotional remote controls in human history. If we do not consciously build a barrier between our minds and our screens, we will remain permanently reactive. Reclaiming your power requires you to notice when a digital notification is attempting to steal your focus and joy. To understand why we react so quickly, we must look at a groundbreaking insight by the famous Austrian psychiatrist Viktor Frankl. He survived the unimaginable horrors of wartime concentration camps, yet he discovered a profound truth about human freedom during his suffering. Frankl famously observed that there is always a tiny space between a specific stimulus and our immediate psychological response. Within that quiet, fleeting space lies our ultimate power to choose our growth and our true happiness. When we do not pause, the brain enters what modern psychologist Daniel Goleman calls an emotional hijack. Goleman is the leading expert who popularized the concept of emotional intelligence, which measures how well we manage our feelings. An emotional hijack occurs when our primitive brain perceives a threat and completely bypasses our rational thinking mind. This sudden neurological takeover makes us shout or say spiteful things that we almost always regret just a few minutes later. By consciously expanding that tiny space between the trigger and the reaction, we can intercept the hijack before it destroys our peace. If you find this video insightful, please take a moment to like and subscribe to help our channel grow and allow other viewers to find this important message. We can regain complete mastery over our minds by practicing a timeless 3-step framework called Stop, Look, and Listen. The first step requires you to literally stop for just 3 seconds the very moment you feel your anger rising. This deliberate pause acts as a powerful circuit breaker, preventing your primitive brain from dictating your immediate physical response. The second step asks you to look inward and objectively observe the exact emotions swirling inside your body. You must ask yourself what you are currently feeling, rather than allowing the emotion to blindly drive your actions. The final step is to listen deeply to the internal narrative you are telling yourself about the stressful situation. We often create highly exaggerated stories in our heads, convincing ourselves that everyone is actively plotting against our success. When you actively stop, look, and listen, you shift from a state of blind reactivity to a state of calm awareness. This simple practice ensures that you remain the only person who holds the remote control to your own mind. True emotional freedom requires us to master 2 profound spiritual concepts, which are known as letting go and changing our perspective. The brilliant author Jay Shetty often discusses these ideas by translating ancient monastic wisdom into practical tools for modern everyday living. Letting go does not mean you become entirely passive, rather it means you stop trying to control things outside your power. When you hold on to resentment, you are choosing to drink poison while hoping that your enemy will suffer instead. Changing your perspective means opening the window of your heart, allowing yourself to see the broader beauty of the world. We often focus so intensely on a single grain of negative sand that we miss the entire beautiful beach right in front of us. When you let go of your rigid expectations, you stop viewing every minor inconvenience as a personal attack against you. This mental shift transforms your mind from a fragile glass house into an unshakable fortress of calm. As we reach the end of our journey today, remember that your mind belongs entirely to you and no one else. Every single day presents a choice between handing your remote control to strangers or holding onto it with firm determination. The next time someone tries to push your buttons, remember the powerful space that exists between the stimulus and your response. Utilize the stop, look, and listen technique to ground yourself, then choose a response that aligns with your highest self. Cultivating inner peace is a lifelong practice, much like shaping raw clay through the intense heat of a fiery kiln. Embrace the daily challenges as opportunities to strengthen your mind, rather than viewing them as unfair obstacles to your happiness. Take back your emotional remote control today, step into your true power, and begin living a life of absolute freedom.